Hey guys, this is Chris. Today I'm going to venture into the CNC world for you. I came into a situation to where I need to turn a piece of 1.5 by 1.5 African blackwood from square to round, and I decided I wanted to do it on the CNC lathe instead of doing it manually. I don't know, that's just how I prefer it. But what I'll be covering in this one, some of you use CNC, some of you don't, some of you want to and have never thought about doing it because you don't know anything about it. Hopefully this video will give you a little more insight into what goes on with the CNC process and what G code is all about and things like that. Now I'm not going to go too in depth with it, maybe in the future, but what I would like to ask before I begin is, everybody is loving our content, but you're not making any comments. You're not asking any questions. The more comments you leave and the more questions that you ask, things like that, the more the YouTube algorithm pushes that content to other people. So if you would, we appreciate the likes and we appreciate subscribing. That's great, but we really need to get some comments going. So anyway, back to business. What I'll be doing is taking this 1.5 by 1.5 piece of square African blackwood, is 8 inches long, and I'll be turning it from round, from square to round. I'll be turning it down to 3.5, and that's going to become a butt cap and a butt sleeve and some ring work for the next cue that I'm doing. So let me get the camera resituated and get it flipped around, and I'll go over the program itself. I'll show you a dry run, and then I'll show you the real run. On the real run with this in the actual machine over here, it can be kind of boring to watch, but I'll go ahead and record it anyway. The important part is the G code and the program, and understanding what each line of code is telling the machine to do. But anyway, I think it'll be insightful. I think you'll enjoy it, and give me a minute to get the camera turned around and we'll get it going. Okay, here we are at the computer, and what I'll do is I'm going to start from scratch and show you guys how this works. And this is on a CNC lathe. With a CNC lathe, let me get mine, give you a visual of it. With a CNC lathe, you have two axes. You have a Z axis, which is what travels along the cue this way, and then you have your X axis, which travels this way. Now, on a CNC mill, it's a 3 axis, 4 axes, up to 7, but typically you're going to have 3. And your X, Y, Z, and your 4th axis, or your rotary axis. The Z axis is in a different orientation. And pretend this is a 3-axis machine where this goes up and down. With a lathe, it does not go up and down. It only goes forward, backward, in, and out. So on a CNC mill, you have a Y axis, your X axis, and then here would be your Z axis going up and down. Here again, on a CNC lathe, you only have 2 axes. You have, in this case, a Z going this way and an X going this way. This is stationary. It doesn't go up or down. So let's get back over here to the program, and I'll get the computer logged up. I'll get everything logged up for you. Let's open up the post processor, which is Mach 3. The Mach 3 is what tells the machine, it translates G code into a workable program and tells the machine what to do. So let's open up Mach 3 here, and once that opens up, you'll notice that you have, it says Mach 3 professional turn right here, and then over here you have your manual, auto, tool table, and diagnostics. We're only going to be playing with the auto for now. So click on auto, and then that is going to bring you to the dialog or dashboard for the automatic programming. The first thing we'll do is top left corner, click on file, click on load G code. In my case, I've already written the program, but I am going to explain the program that I wrote. Again, I have an 8-inch piece of square stock and I'm turning it round. So once that loads, click on cycle, and then you can actually see the program itself. Now, the first thing you're going to see here is a G54. Now, the G54 command is basically telling the machine where the part is located. So, 0. Your Z is at 0 and your X is at 0. It's your starting point. That's what G54 means. Now you go down to your F, next line down. F is your feed rate. And your feed rate is how many inches per minute or millimeters per minute the machine is traveling along the Z axis. And then you have your G01. Your G01 is simply telling it to move in a straight line, and then you have an X 2.0. That's going to say, okay, we want to move the X axis 2 inches. And the MO1 command is a temporary stop. What that does, when the computer reaches this line, then the machine will stop in the position that it was just in. So to recap, you have your G54, your feed rate at 17 inches a minute, then it's going to move 2 inches, and then it's going to stop. And it's going to stay stopped until you press cycle start again. And the reason that I put that MO1 command in there is because you want to be in a position to where your machine has already moved to the position that it's going to be starting at. And then you load your material. And once you load your material, then you can hit start again. And once you hit start again, then it'll deactivate the MO1 command and it'll move it on down to the rest of the code. Now I'm not going to go through every line of this, but the Z is going to move 8.5 inches, the X is going to move 2.01, and then it's going to come back and do it all over again, but it's going to reduce the size to 1.94, come back, reduce the size to 1.88, come back, 182, come back, 176, 17, 160, 158, 152, and 146, 140, 137, and finally it's going to move it to 135. And if you notice over here, I did add another feed rate. I reduced the feed rate to 6 inches per minute. And by reducing that feed rate to 6 inches per minute, it gives you a better finish on that final pass. Now you'll also see down below that you have an M30 command, and the M30 command simply rewinds the job back to the beginning, and the M1 command will again cause a temporary stop, but it won't be applied to that. It's kind of irrelevant really, but the M30 will rewind the program back to the beginning. Now we close that out and you'll notice that you back to your main screen and you have a reset button that is blinking. The reason the reset button is blinking is because it's asking you to check your settings, check your e-stop, make sure that the powers are turned on to the control box and to your axes, and then once you do that you can click on the reset button and it'll stop blinking and you're ready to move. Now I'm going to shift the camera back over to the machine and I am going to click on cycle start, and what you'll notice is that it will move 2 inches out in the x-axis and then it'll stop. So let me get that moved over for you so you can kind of see what's going on there. Now when I click on the cycle start, which you can't see, but I'll do that now. Now you notice that it moved over 2 inches and stopped. Let me show you what that looks like up here. If you zoom in here, you'll notice that it says the line is highlighted, says G01 2.0. So it told it to move the x-axis 2 inches. And then your next line, of course, was the MO1 command, which told it to stop and don't do anything else. So once I press cycle start again, which you'll see down here, once I press cycle start, then the rest of that program will run. So let's go back over here, zoom back out a little bit, and then I'll show you the program running. Now I won't run the whole thing, I'll just run a little bit of it, but you'll get the idea. So now I'll hit cycle start and the program will pick up where it left off. Now once it reaches 8 inches, it's going to retract a little bit, come back to the beginning where it began, move in a little bit more than it was previously, and take another pass, which is taking off more material actually. And then it'll do that however many times you told it to do it to get down to the final size that you wanted. Now it's 8 inches now. Here it'll back up and it'll come in a little more than it was to begin with and begin the process all over again. And it'll continue to do that until the program is finished running. Now I'm going to pause this again because this is just an air run. I'm going to pause this again and I'm going to put an actual piece of material in there, and then I will record the entire process. Again, that part's going to be kind of boring, but at least you get to see it happen. Okay, I have the machine set up to where we're ready to run the part. I've already clicked cycle start one time, which made this go out that way 2 inches, which allowed access for my material to go on. And what I'll do is turn the exhaust fan on, then I'll turn the rotary on, which I'll do that now. Turn the rotary on, get that going, and it takes just a second, but you'll see it begin. Now you'll see it start spinning. It's spinning at about 45-50 RPM, and then I'm going to turn the air exhaust on so it'll suck the dust out, and then I'll click cycle start after I turn the router on. So give me just a second. Okay, now the exhaust is going. I'm going to turn the router on. At that point, you're not going to be able to hear me, so I'm not going to say anything. I'll let it run. It'll take about 10 minutes for it to do its job, and then we'll reconvene after that. Now you'll notice I'm taking just a little bit off at a time. If you're enjoying this video, please take the time to subscribe to our channel. That way you get updates whenever we post something new. I'd appreciate it very much. To me, this is just a little more precise than doing it manually. Plus, you know, hey, if you have other things to do, you can let this be running while you're doing those other things on your manual lathe. Okay, I'm not going to make you suffer through this whole video. I'm going to pause it and then I'll start it again when it's almost finished. And this is the final pass. You'll notice that it's going a lot slower on the feed rate. This is a cleanup pass. And remember, I did pause the video so I was able to do without some of the other passes and speed the video up a little bit and not bore you too much. And here again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments. I'm more than willing to answer any questions you may have. Now, when this is done on this pass, it's at sand quality. I mean, it's ready to work with. When it gets done, I'll take the part, after I turn everything off, I'll take the part out of the machine and I'll show you what we ended up with. Okay, that's it. Now let me take this part out of the machine and I can show you what we ended up with here. Now you'll notice this is, it's literally ready for finish. It's that smooth. This is 8.5 inches long and I turned it down to 1.35 inches in diameter. And again, I'll be using this piece as a butt cap, a butt sleeve, and some ring work. And the luxury of CNC is I didn't have to sit there and babysit it. I could have been over there building shafts or building some other parts of a queue or anything on the manual machine. That's the luxury of the CNC aspect. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please comment, subscribe, share. Let's help get this channel going. Appreciate it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.